Now for an ABC 7 at 7 exclusive. Is the state of Florida using laws involving historic designations as a reason for stopping Sarasota from tearing down an old dilapidated housing project in Newtown and standing in the way of a new one? ABC 7's Dwayne Lindo joins us with the story. Dwayne.
Well, Alan, if you talk to many of the residents there, they certainly think the state is impeding the process. But the state says it's a process that they have to go through, and more importantly, they're following federal law.
From the start, this door won't stay shut.
In the 2 years Jennifer Sneppinger has lived in Orange Avenue Public Housing, her door has been the least of her problems.
And this is all the mold in the bathroom. All the light switches, the sockets, they're like blown. And these windows were shot by a BB gun, and they still haven't been fixed.
In addition to structural problems, she says there are also health issues.
The mildew, the moisture. Me and my son been sick ever since we moved in.
It's a complex built back in 1942, initially to provide African-American housing in the city during segregation. But fast forward 75 years later, Sarasota Housing Authority President William Russell says the development is old and needs to be replaced.
It is well beyond its useful life. It's distressed. And so in cases like this all over the country, housing authorities, partner with the developer, they get funding, HUD approves the demolition of it and redevelopment of housing back, in its place.
And while Sneppinger and more than 50 other families endure deplorable conditions, the Sarasota Housing Authority has been applying for funding over the past decade.
We were finally able to secure an award of 9% housing tax credits, and that provides, the bulk of the equity and the funding that we need to redevelop it.
A total of around $12 million from Housing and Urban Development, but there's a roadblock.
The State Historic Preservation Office has made a determination that it has historical significance and that demolishing these residential buildings would have an adverse effect.
The Florida State Historic Preservation Office says in a statement, ensuring that this piece of local history is documented or preserved is a process that is required. In other words, it may be dilapidated, but it's a historic landmark. Also saying Newtown Heights is considered historically significant to Sarasota as the first public housing development completed by the Sarasota Housing Authority and one of the oldest in the state. As required under federal law, the Division of Historical Resources is actively working with the Sarasota Housing Authority and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to formulate a plan that supports development priorities while also ensuring the important piece of local history is documented or preserved. But Russell says the two state agencies involved are not aligned.
On one hand, we have one state agency that's funding the redevelopment. And on the other hand, we have another state agency that's saying, not so fast.
When asked if he thought the department was making things difficult.
Well, residents in this community obviously upset while it seems like politics are just being played out.
All right, Dwayne, thank you.